Morning all, and today this is BTEC Construction. When you look at the pictures on the screen, I wonder what you see. Can you guess what the content is for today's topic? Today's topic is all about the different kind of floors that you can get in the house. Now, obviously, normally in the PowerPoints, do have a look at these questions. Do pause the screens when it comes up to these questions and try out these questions. It's a low stakes quiz, so we don't want you to write the questions out, we just want you to write the answers. Put on your page number 1 to 10, pause this page and give the questions a go. Shortly after this, the answers will appear on the screen. Okay, well done. I hope you've enjoyed doing the questions. So the question is, what is screed? Like we said on the exam, quite often to answer the exam questions, it's not that you don't understand what the answers are going to be, it's just that they use terminology that we're not used to. So screed is just a very, very lightweight material. It's got lots of air bubbles. It's almost like an arrow. To name an earthwork sport, you could have steel trench sheets. Hazard, you could do groundwork. All the answers are on the page. Have a look at the answers and see how you got on. It's not about how many you got right or how many you got wrong. What it does, it'll show you the topics that you need to study. The ones that you got right, you don't need to look at again. The ones that you got wrong, spend a bit of time on those. Okay, today we're going to be looking at how we use different kinds of flooring in the construction industry and how that is done for different scenarios. So have a look at these. These are different kind of words. But can you tell they've been jumbled up? What kind of floors could we be talking about? Okay, the top one was a solid floor. We have the suspended floor, and we have the beam and block floor. Okay, what is a solid floor? The solid floor is basically a full bed of concrete. You put in hard core at the bottom, which is ground up used stone from old houses, and then you put some sand on top of that, and that will bind it and make it all flat. You add a damp-proof membrane, and that will stop the water from rising up through the floor. And then you can add some insulation, which quite often is very, very good under compression. And then quite often you put screed at the end, which is, it looks a little bit like concrete. But like I've said, it's very, very lightweight. It's full of air bubbles, and it keeps the insulation in your house so much better. Okay, what is a suspended beam and block floor? Suspended beam and block floor is basically beams of concrete that go across, all the way across the floor, and then the blocks are the blocks of concrete that are fitted in place. These are what I call pre-manufactured. Now, if you're doing a substantial build and you're doing hundreds of houses, when you pre-manufacture an item, it is so much better for the speed of your production. Also, the beam and block floor is so much better than a solid concrete floor because you are not using as much concrete. The less concrete you use, the more sustainable your build is. As always on the exam, you'll be required to draw a cross-section of an item. So do pause this video, do have a look at this beam and block floor, and what you want to do is sketch it out. I've put some of the keywords on the left-hand side, where we've got the slip where it goes into the wall, where you've got the beams and the blocks that are going across, where you've got the damp-proof membrane, where you've got the thermal insulation boards, and where you've got the screed. Last but not least, so something you always want to remember is a polyurethane sheet or the timber flooring that goes on the top. So pause this video, give this drawing a go. Okay, the beam and block floor is really important because it can speed up the production so much quicker, and then you don't have to wait for concrete to harden because this concrete has already been pre-produced. It can withstand so much more weight than a suspended floor from a timber frame floor. And like I mentioned before, they are pre-manufactured, so they can arrive to the building site just on time. Do play the videos, do go on YouTube, do have a look at these videos. They're a great explanation of what the beam and block floor are. And as always, you'll need to be able to explain what is the purpose of a beam and block floor on the exam. So what is the purpose of a beam and block floor? Go on YouTube, click on the links that are on this PowerPoint and have a look. Okay. Another kind of floor that we've got is a suspended floor. And this suspended floor is built into the walls. You've got timber joists, you've got the ground floor, you'll have some bracing that will go on the side, you'll have timber beams that will go across the joists, and then you'll inlay the floorboards on top of that. Play this video, go on suspended ground floors, insulation and airtight typicals, and what you'll find out is exactly how to fit a suspended floor. Now then, as always, I've mentioned on the exam, you will be asked to draw a cross section of something and also to label it. The words are the ones that you want to remember. So have a look at this drawing. Have a look at keywords like the wall plate, where the joists are fastened onto the wall plate. Have a look at the height. It is higher than the damp-proof course, so moisture, when it gets to a certain level, doesn't soak up the floor, is above the damp-proof course, so the moisture is not going to get it. Okay, so have a look at the joists. Have a look at the flooring. They've got some honeycomb walls underneath, and that allow the air to flow underneath the flooring. There are disadvantages of a suspended floor, particularly if you don't fit insulation in between these gaps. It means that it can be very, very drafty and it can make your house quite cold. The advantage is it is relatively highly skilled to bake, but also it is good for the environment because you can get sustainable timber framed from the Forest Stewardship Council, and it means that every tree that you chop down, it is regrown. So it doesn't damage the environment, but it does require a highly skilled person to fit it. So it does require more cost. Okay, have a go at these questions. Can you name 2 types of flooring? Can you name 2 materials that are used for this flooring? And last but not least, we mentioned this quite early, can you name a floor finish that will go on top of this flooring all at the end? Here's an odd one out. Which is the odd one out? The solid floor, the hydraulic floor, timbering floor, or suspended floor? Well, we've mentioned the solid floor, and that's made from concrete. We've mentioned the suspended floor, which you've got the beam and blocks, and you've got the timbering floor. But the timbering and the hydraulics, you can do a timbering suspended floor, but hydraulics, that is all to do with when you want to separate, when you've got an excavation and you're going into substructure and you don't want the excavation to fall down. So you can get hydraulic supports that will open up and keep the actual trench open. As always, core notes are really, really important. They will embed your knowledge of the topics. Do look at the BTEC Construction Revision Guide. Do look at page 23 and 26, not between 23 and 26, but actually only page 23 and only page 26, and complete your core notes. Last but not least, we've got a range of exam questions that you can give a go. What are the key words? Can you redraw the solid floor? What are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? Okay, there's a range of questions there. And same again, we've got some more questions here. With an exam question at the end, an architectural design a new house. Can you explain the advantages or disadvantages of the different flooring methods? So as always, have a look at these questions, give it a go. And if you do get some time, try the extension tasks. This is Mr. Cox, this is BTEC Construction, and the topic today is talking about the beam and block floor. Nobody says that the substructure, okay?